get started on today's at least. So we're going to work on a lot of outer hip, side body kind of area. And in the tradition of Chinese medicine, which that's kind of married with some of the yoga that I study, springtime is associated with the liver gallbladder channels. And those are the channels that we're going to work on today. A little bit of outer hip, outer leg, and also inseam of the leg. So inseam of the leg is the channel that the liver meridian goes through. And so then the outer is the gallbladder, and they're paired together. And it's related to the energy of the element of wood. So wood, so in Chinese medicine, there's different elements than in Ayurveda. Some of them overlap. So another whole class. But wood element, it has the energy of springtime, which is, you think of a plant and how it has to kind of push the soil to get out and express itself. And so if we are not expressing ourselves in our lives, or we're like holding back on things that need to be expressed or moved, we might stagnate that energy that naturally wants to go up and out, right? So that could be voice, right? Voice is something that needs to go up and out. Are we expressing what needs to be expressed? Or are we holding it back? So if we're holding it back, that's like stopping that energy flow. And it creates conditions in the body when we like kind of stagnate or repress things. We can think of that as like a pressure cooker, right? So it's like creating pressure when we don't get out what needs to get out. Mm-hmm. And so we got to always find healthy ways to do that, right? So, you know, there's some ways that we can do it that are not necessarily productive. But so if we can't express what we need to express verbally, maybe we need to journal it out, get it out, or like scream into our pillow, or get in the car and put on some loud music and sing it out. Like there's different ways that we can get that energy out. Mm-hmm. But it also relates to like purpose, right? So are we expressing our lives in the way that we were meant to? So that's another piece of it, right? So we talked about this in our Destiny and Dharma class that I know Carol was there. So like, are we living to our true purpose? So that's another way we might repress ourselves. Like if we really, really want to be a pastry chef, but you know, we sort of had all this pressure in our lives to do something else. So that's a way that we can stagnate our energy too. And in general, just in winter time, we're not as active, we're not moving energy as much. So this is starting to activate those channels that help energy move. And so that's what our practice is going to be about today. So really kind of feeling into these areas and not ignoring the body. So a lot of times we repress, and then because we don't want to feel something. So this class is called All the Feels. We're going to come on our mats, and I do have my blanket down. We'll do a little bit of work on our backs, and then we'll be progressing through some hip work today. So go ahead and come down. We are going to need maybe a belt for later. You might want a set of blocks and anything you want for Shavasana, a blanket for your knees, that kind of stuff. So let's go ahead and come onto the mat. All right, so you can go ahead and come on your backs. And we're going to have our feet flat, knees bent to start out. Now we're going to put our hands below the navel center on the lower belly. All right, so I'm going to take a couple of moments to settle in here. Notice the fingers where they are on the lower belly, and allow the fingers to start to be a little sensitized so that the fingers can sense that the breath is moving in and out of this area of our bodies. See if you can aim your breath for the area between your navel and your pelvic floor. So you're breathing a nice low, deep breath. And as you have a few more breaths here, just noticing what is present in your body and in your mind. And really just start to be aware of sensations. This is how we really activate the principle of embodiment. So when we are trying to avoid our feelings, we dissociate from them, we distract ourselves, and then we can really neglect what our bodies might need. Let's take 3 more breaths like this. Really being present. So feeling is about being present. If we are somewhere else in the past or in the future, we're really not going to be able to feel and sense into the present moment. All right, so from here, let's go ahead, take our arms out to a T. And cross your right ankle over your left knee, coming into a figure 4. That's it. And then from here, just go ahead and lift the left foot up off the ground. And feel that stretch coming into the right outer hip. And then lower the foot back down. Do that a few more times and go ahead and go nice and slowly, because that's another way that we can feel. When we go too quickly, we miss out on the feeling. And we really are just bypassing. Good. Now let that foot stay down. And this time now we're going to go side to side. So windshield wiper the legs to the left and to the right. And again, going slowly, maybe noticing those sensations along the side body, especially into the hips and the kind of maybe lower back region. So gallbladder channel goes all through the sides of the legs, sides of the hip. And then a little bit into the back body. Now we'll come back to the center. Keep the right ankle crossed over and then lift the left foot off the ground. And this time, see if you can reach behind and hold your left thigh and let your head and shoulders stay relaxed. Press your left thigh into your hands and pull with your hands so that you're getting a little bit of traction there. The feet are going to be slightly flexed, so don't let them be asleep. They don't have to be like rigid, but don't let them be asleep. And then as you stay here, press down a little bit more with your tailbone area. And that might give you a little more sensation in that outer hip. So just notice that. Maybe you're going to go ahead and straighten your left leg, and then we'll get a little hamstring stretch as well. And if that's too much, just go ahead and keep it bent. Extend your right inner knee a little bit over to the right. Last breath. Good, and now we're going to release. Let that left foot come down. Take your arms out to a T again. Now cross that right leg all the way over the left so that there's no space between your legs. Shift your hips a little bit over to the right and drop your knees to the left, coming into a twist. You might use your left hand on that leg to give it a little traction. Let the right arm get heavy. Let the right shoulder stay heavy. And if that arm is floating, let the right hand rest on your rib cage or your hip. All right, now from here, we're going to come back up through the center and uncross the legs. And then we'll try that on the other side. So figure 4, left ankle crosses over. First couple of movements are just going to be to lift and lower the right leg. And every time you lift, feel into that left outer hip area. Gentle flex to the feet. And that actually also helps to protect the left knee when we have a little flex. All right, and then let the foot come down and now windshield wiper side to side. And as you go side to side, again, noticing the areas of the outer hip, outer leg, maybe a little lower back. And again, make sure we're moving nice and slowly so we don't bypass feeling the sensations. And sometimes when something's painful, we don't want to feel it. And that's natural, but you know, that repressed emotion comes back to haunt us. So if we can feel it in the moment and process it, it's going to be healthier for our minds and bodies. All right, come back to center now. Lift the right foot, hold behind the back of the thigh. And then we'll use the hands to pull the right thigh in and press the right thigh into your hands. Little flex to the feet. Extend through the left inner knee. And then you might straighten that right leg so we get the hamstring stretch. And just holding it here. All right, and then go ahead, release that foot down, release your hands. And now we're gonna cross that left leg all the way over. Shift your hips a little to the left, knees to the right, come into the twist. And then let your right hand rest on the top of your left leg to give a little extra traction. Making sure that the left shoulder is grounded, or drape your hand over your rib cage or your hip. Let's hold here one more breath. And then we're going to slowly unwind, release, come back to the center, even yourself out. Take your legs straight up toward the ceiling. Cross your right ankle in front of your left and then pull the knees down. So we're in Supta Sukhasana, like when we sit cross legs. We've done this one before. So knees go toward the sides, the feet are flexed a little bit, and then we're going to press the lower back into the ground. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, draw your knees a little closer in towards your chest as you press your lower back into the ground. So you're actually using a little core strength here as well as working on the hips. And then take the legs up and switch the crossing, opposite shin in the front, and pull down. And then we'll stay here for a moment. Feet are gently flexed. Press your lower back into the floor. And then we'll take an inhale. Exhale, pull those knees in as you press your lower back. Draw the lower belly towards your spine. Good, and then inhale, reach those legs back up. And exhale, release. Let the feet come back down. Okay, let's roll over onto our side. And we'll come on up into a seated posture. Draw soles of the feet together, knees apart into your bound angle position. So anytime we're externally rotating, we're getting into the liver channel through the inner legs. So we're just gonna sit up tall. And if you can hold on somewhere, ankles, shins, wherever you can, press your heels together and extend through those inner knees. We're gonna just keep a tall spine, lift the back of your head. One more breath. Good, and then slowly release, cross your right leg in front of your left leg, and sit up on a prop if you want, widen your sit bones. Inhale, reach your arms up, and exhale, coming forward into little forward folds, and just have a gentle sway side to side, feeling into those outer hips. And as you do this, you might walk yourself out a little bit farther if that feels good. And then at some point, go ahead and stay in the center and take 3 more breaths. Maybe let your head get a little heavier, let your arms get a little softer. Breathe into your belly. Just finding that stillness where you can really feel into your body. And then we're going to slowly, slowly come up and switch your legs. So we'll bring the opposite leg in the front. Again, you might widen out your sit bones. And then inhale, reach your arms up. And exhale, bring your hands forward. And then again, you might pause there. You might walk it out a little bit farther. And then once you feel like you've come to a good spot, then find a nice gentle sway side to side. So when we don't express what needs to get expressed, things can kind of get stuck in our tissues. And the liver is said to be something that helps us process that. So if we're not processing it, then it gets stuck in our tissues. You can come back to the center and perhaps now just stay there, maybe go a little bit farther, let your head relax, and let yourself just drop for 3 breaths. Sit bones stay heavy, breathe into your belly. And in the world of yoga, we talk a lot about the area of the hips being where we hold our repressed emotions. So sometimes people have an emotional release. Go ahead and come up when we work on hips. Lean back, bring your feet in front of you, and windshield wiper side to side. Yeah, in my 12 years of teaching yoga, I've had several incidences of teaching hip work where a student had just broke down into tears because it just released something that was stuck. So it's really interesting. All right, so we're gonna now come into our tabletop pose, all fours. Setting up, hands under shoulders, knees under hips, and you can take a few rounds of your cat-cow here. So when you're ready, just go ahead and begin inhaling, and as you exhale, round your spine. And let's do about 5 cycles of cat-cow. And after your 5th cycle, you can go ahead and come back into a child's pose. And in your child's pose, go ahead and take your knees nice and wide and reach your arms forward if that feels okay. Otherwise, let the arms be stacked up, palms underneath your forehead. And then while you're in your child's pose, let's go ahead and just take 3 breaths and notice what you feel there. Right. After your 3rd breath, we're going to slowly come back up into tabletop. And then we're going to come on our sides. And come on your side and stack your legs up so that their ankles, knees are on top of each other, hips are on top of each other. And then you're going to come down all the way. So some of you might wish to have a pillow blanket for underneath your head, or you could just use your arms. So I'm just going to use my arm to balance here, but if you need a prop there, go ahead and grab it. Sorry for the bad lighting in here again. It's just this time of day. All right, hopefully you guys can see. Now, you can keep your hand in front of you, your top hand, if you want. We're going to try a full body stretch on the side if you feel like you can balance. So we're going to take the top arm, reach it overhead, hold your wrist, and then lengthen from your heel through your arms. So try to have everything in a straight line. Really lengthen the side body. Good. Now release the top palm back to the floor and take your top leg and step it behind you. Bring the foot flat to the ground. That's it. Now the top arm, we're going to slide it forward. And as you slide it forward, be aware of sensations in the bottom side of your body. Slide back and then slide forward. You get a nice feeling of stretch for me along that bottom side rib cage, arm and shoulder. Let's do 2 more. Slide forward and back. And 1 more time. Slide forward and back. Good. Now from here, keep that hand down on the ground and place your top foot on top of your bottom leg. So you're in tree pose on your side. Flex your bottom foot, root your bottom leg down, engage the muscles in that bottom leg. And then we're going to start to move the top leg a little bit. So we're going to slide the top leg out. So you're in that kind of full body stretch. And then you're going to slide it back up your leg into tree. And this time bring your knee in towards your shoulder, lift your foot, good. And see if you can extend the leg up. That's it. And then we're going to bring it down, foot down, and slide out. Try that a few times. Slide the foot in, knee pulls in, extending is optional. And release. Slide it down. So we're following the pathway of the liver meridian as we do the slide. And as we extend it up, we're also kind of stretching out that inner thigh area. Now, keep that foot in tree. Flex the bottom foot, root into the bottom leg. Squeeze your outer hips and try to find your balance here. So you feel that bottom leg working pretty good. That should be engaged. The outer hip should feel engaged. And now we're going to bring that knee up 1 more time. Some of you maybe can hold your foot and extend. Now, if you can't hold the foot, you can hold onto your ankle or your shin. And then we try to balance here on our side. Root that bottom leg down by engaging it. You might need to tone your belly to find that balance. Good, and then release, foot back to tree and slide it out. All right, let's go ahead, try your other side. So I'm gonna flip around so I can stay facing you guys. So first starting with the full body stretch on your side. So the top arm reaches overhead, you're gonna flex your feet and reach, reach, reach. Get as long as you can on the side. Good, and then release your hand in front of you. Bring your top foot back behind you. That's it. And then we slide. Reach that top arm away from you and back. And we'll do that a few times. Two more. Last one. Good. All right, keep that hand where it is. Bring the foot into your tree position. Flex that bottom foot, root the leg down. Make sure that outer hip is engaged. And then when you're ready, you can start your slide. Slide that foot out. And then we slide it back in, bring that knee up toward your shoulder, and then extend if you like. Make sure you're moving slowly. This brush of the inner leg, that brush of the liver channel. All right, we're going to do one more round after this, and we'll hold it. And then this time, hold your tree. Place your foot somewhere on that inner thigh. Root the bottom leg down, engage your hips, tone your belly. See if you can really find balance here on your side. We're going to make sure that we're not kind of sticking our booty back behind us. We want everything in a straight line. Good, now you can go ahead and come into the leg extended position if you like. You can stay in tree, or you can even hold down lower. If you can hold your big toe. And then here it's a little harder to balance, so root down even more into that bottom leg. Last breath. And then we'll slowly release. And this time we're gonna roll onto our bellies. I'm gonna flip around so I can see a little better. All right, so come into Sphinx Posture. We're gonna press through the arms, lift through the chest. I'm gonna hold here a couple breaths. Pull the hands towards you, pull the belly forward. One more breath. And then slowly lower down, bring the right knee out to the side. And then as you inhale, press up any amount. So it's like a little cobra with a knee to the side. As you lower down, let your back leg lift off the ground. Forehead comes down, back leg lifts, and then press up. And you're gonna look now over your right shoulder towards your right foot. As you lower down, lift the left leg. And it might not go far, that's okay. One more time, look up and over to your right. And then release and lift the left leg. Good, release the left leg, slide the right leg back, and come back up into Sphinx Posture. Good, press through your palms, pull your chest forward. And then let's slide the left leg out to the side. Lower down, bring your hands by your chest and shoulders. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower, lift the right leg. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower, lift the leg. Now start to look over that left shoulder as you lift up. Let's do one more after this round. Remember to move slowly. And then release that leg, release your arms, and now rest in crocodile. So just stack up your arms, put your forehead on your arms, and have 3 breaths here. Just feel your body on the ground, on the earth. All right, go ahead, slide your hands back, press back to tabletop pose. And we are gonna come into down dog. So if you have a blanket on your mat, might be a good time to remove that. And then when you're ready, coming into your downward facing dog, pedal it out for a little bit. Let your hips even sway a little bit. And then take your feet about outer hips distance, bend the knees, walk your hands back to your feet, hands to hips, and we'll press all the way up, coming up to mountain pose. All right, so find your feet, root through your heels, lift through the crown of your head. Take an inhale, reach the arms out to the sides and overhead. And as you exhale, fold over your legs. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, rise up. And exhale, arms down. Good. 2 more times for half sun sow. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. You can go at your own pace if your breath cycle is a little different than mine. You guys know this one. And we'll do one more cycle. And inhale up. This time, keep the arms overhead. Step your feet apart a little bit wider so you feel stable. And then we're going to hold the right wrist with your left hand. Inhale, reach up. Make sure you're rooting through both feet. And exhale, side bend over to your left. And again, this gets into the side body, the gallbladder channel. Root through those legs. We're going to pull the tailbone down a little, lift your belly and your hip points up a little. Good, and then release, other side. Hold your left wrist, inhale, lengthen. And exhale, side bend. Again, root through the feet. Tailbone down, belly lifts. And feel into that side body. Good, inhale, come up and release your arms. We're going to do that again. Option to add a little balance challenge. Inhale, reach, hold your right wrist, lengthen and side bend. Put all your weight into your left leg and come onto your right toes. You can stay there if you like, and make sure we have a little micro bend in that standing knee, and then maybe lift that foot off the ground. And if that's too much, just keep your toe down. Now we're strengthening that outer hip area. Let's see if we can hold it for another breath. And feel that work in the outer hip, and now we'll release and float the arms down. Good. Okay, other side, inhale the arms up. Hold that wrist, lengthen and side bend. Weight comes into the right leg. Come on to the toes. Again, you can stay there or try to lift that foot off the ground, and then we hold for a few breaths. You can get really steady, a micro bend in your standing knee. You don't want to block out the joint. And then let's release and let the arms come down, and we'll circle. Good. Okay, step your feet apart wide on your mat. And we'll do our warrior series. We'll add in some side bending. Turn your right leg out, bend into that knee. Square your chest and shoulders right over your hips and come into your warrior two. Reach out wide through your arms, press down through your feet. We're also getting some inner thigh here in our warrior two. Now we're going to take the arms up just like we did before. We're going to hold that right wrist. Reach that right wrist nice and tall, and then side bend toward the left. And you're going to give a little pull, a little traction onto that arm. Press down and apart with your feet to work your legs. Good, release. Arms out to a T. Inhale, straighten your front leg. Exhale, bend a little deeper. Let's do that two more. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. One more time. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Now we're going to bring left hand onto your hip. Reach your right arm forward like you're going to try and reach for something far away, and then bring your forearm onto your thigh. So we're in side angle position. Roll your top rib cage open, top shoulder back, and now we're going to reach that left arm up. Turn your palm to face the right, and if it's okay on your shoulder, reach that arm over your ear. So we're in another side bending posture. Really root into your back heel, send your back thigh back, and then see if you can reach a little more through that top arm. And pull your tailbone in a little bit. Sometimes we get a little too back bendy in that lower back. Good, inhale, coming up, warrior two. And then straighten that leg, hands to hips, parallel into your feet. Okay, other side. Turn the whole left leg out, right toes in a little bit, and come into your warrior two. Reach out wide through your arms, press down through your feet, especially your heels. And then inhale the arms up, hold the left wrist, reach tall, and then side bend towards your right. Give a little traction by lifting through that arm, bend deeper into your front knee. Last breath. Feel that stretch through your rib cage. And then rise back up, warrior two. Inhale, straighten the leg. Exhale, bend. One more time, inhale, straighten the leg. Exhale, bend. Good, back hand on the hip, right hand on the hip. Reach your left hand to the left and then bring it down onto your thigh. Good, roll the top shoulder back. And then top arm can reach up, turn your palm to the left. You can always stay here if shoulders are not happy with this. Otherwise, take the arm over your ear. Press down into your feet, especially your back heel, and then pull your tailbone in a little bit, tone the lower belly. Reach more through the top arm as you reach through your back leg and back heel. And next inhale, rise back up, warrior two. Straighten that leg, parallel your feet. Good, let's heel toe in and step in for a moment, shake it out. We're gonna come back to that wide leg position. So step the feet apart wide again. If you need blocks under your hands to get to the floor, you could grab those. Make sure your feet are parallel, not turning in or turning out. And then we're gonna bend the knees just a little bit so we can hinge at our hips and bring your hands down to the ground or your blocks. So we're staying with the arms straight. And we're gonna now turn the whole right leg out again. So your toes point slightly on an angle. And then we're gonna bend that knee. So we're gonna do kind of a side lunge. You might walk your hands a little bit toward the right. And then resist your left foot so that it doesn't collapse to the big toe. Keep the pinky sealed, excuse me, and that'll help give us more stretch on that left inner thigh. So press through the pinky edge of your left foot. Okay, and let's walk it over to the other side. So come back. Now turn the left toes out a little bit. And lunge, making sure your knee goes in the same direction as your toes. Your hands could walk toward that left side. And then really press to that pinky edge of the right foot so we don't let the ankle collapse. Bring a stretch through the inseams of the legs. All right, and then come back through center, parallel your feet. You can stay here in this halfway up shape or bend the knees a little bit, lift your sit bones up, and then hinge and fold over your legs. Now here, if you want, you can grab your big toes, your ankles, or keep your hands on the ground and let your head release, coming into a wide leg forward fold. Root down through your legs. Take a couple more breaths if you can. With the knees a little bent, try to stick your sit bones up. That helps rotate your pelvis and helps you fold forward. Last breath. And then we'll slowly start to come into the halfway up shape again. Good. Heel toe your feet in. And when you're ready, you can come back to mountain pose and stand there for a moment. Good. Okay, we're going to come down to sit now. So go ahead and grab something to sit on, a pillow or a blanket, and have your strap nearby. We're going to come into a wide leg position. So again, inseam of the legs. Have a little flex to the feet, sitting up nice and tall. Spread through your toes. Hold here one more breath. Good. Okay, so grab your strap and take it around your right foot. So that right foot is flexed. You're going to first just sit up with a nice tall spine, press your foot into the strap, take your shoulders back. Make sure both thighs are rooting down toward the ground. And we'll take an inhale, and as you exhale, we'll start to fold toward the right leg. You can walk your hands down your strap. Those of you who have the range of motion could hold your foot. Now try to hinge at your hip and not just like let your back round a lot to get there. I'd rather have you stay up a little taller than to like round your back. So see if you can lift your chest and then walk forward as opposed to letting your head drop towards your knee. That's it, guys. Okay, now take the strap only into your right hand or hold your right foot, either way, and bring your left hand onto your hip. Good. Take your left shoulder and roll it back. Now we're coming into another side bend. You can stay here or take that arm and reach it up like we did in our side angle. And if you want, you could take it over your ear. If that's too much, try a midpoint, hand behind the back of the head, and then your head reaches back towards your hand. So you can feel the weight stay in your sit bones. So either way, straight up, over the ear, or behind the head, your choice. Keep that sit bone down on that left side. It's going to want to pop up. And if it pops up, it can be a little bit more strain in the back. Okay, hand to hip. To come out, we want to tone the belly and press the left hip down to help us come up. And then we're not yanking on those muscles. Now have a pause in the center. And then we'll do the other side. So take your strap, if you're using it, around the foot. And first we sit up tall. Press the foot into the strap, lift your chest. Both thighs are rooting down. And then we'll start to hinge at the hip crease and fold forward. Now, if you notice your back starts to round, you're not getting very far, I would recommend bending that left knee. And then you can hinge a little easier from your hip. So that's an option. You could even slide a blanket or a pillow under that knee. I should have mentioned that on the other side. So if that works for you, go ahead and bend that knee. Those of you who can let go of the strap and hold your foot. But no worries, wherever you are, the right place to be. All right, so now we're going to come out a little bit and bring that right hand onto the hip. And you can either keep holding your foot or your strap or your big toe. Roll the top shoulder back. Take the top arm, reach it up. And you can remember, stay there. You can also do hand behind the head or arm reaching over the ear. Keep those thighs grounded. That opposite sit bone, right sit bone down. Maybe sit back into your sit bones a bit. Holding here another breath or two. What do you feel? Maybe reach that arm a little more if you're in the side bend. And then to come out, we're going to bring the hand back to the hip. Tone the belly, push the hip into the ground, and slowly come up through the center and pause. All right, so now we're going to try going straight through center. So see if we can keep kneecaps and toes pointing up. When we fold, sometimes they want to roll inward. And I want the fold to happen through the center of the body. So find those hip creases. That's where we're bending from, not up here, because then we just round our backs, really not good for our discs. So we want to bend from down here. So take your hands, root your thigh bones down, lift your chest up. Get as tall as you can. If you know your hamstrings a little more limited, bend both knees. You're on your heels, and that'll make it easier to fold. You could stick props under there if you like. If you can keep the legs straight and start to fold without bending the knees, you can do so. So we're hinging from the hips. Eventually, we're going to bring those hands in front of us onto the floor. That's it. Now, some of you might want to just stay a little higher up, especially if your hamstrings pull you into a rounded low back. If you want to go further, you can walk your hands out any amount. But I want you to stop where you feel some resistance. So we're not going to force ourselves into a deeper pose. Be where you can feel the sensations and stay with it. Sometimes if we go too far, our bodies are like, whoa, get me out of here. But if we find that good spot where we've got some sensations, it's not too intense, but it's also not too mild. Like Goldilocks principle, right? Just right. Stay and breathe. We've got 3 more breaths here. Feel it all. Thinking about what needs expressing. After your 3rd breath, slowly, slowly starting to walk yourself back up. Use your hands, lift your knees, and bring the soles of your feet together again, back into your bound angle position. So last time we stayed up, maybe we'll take a forward fold if you like this time. So inhale, lift your chest, exhale, making your way forward if that feels good. If it feels like, again, a big rounding in your back, stay up a little higher or just try to lift your chest. Yeah, that's it. Even with the chest lifted, you could lower your chin. So 2 different things. Sometimes we stick our chin out, makes us feel like we're getting farther. But if we lower the chin, we'll find a little more lengthening through the upper back. And then as you stay for a few more moments, feel what you feel. Let there be a softness through your jaw, through your face. A smooth breath. And the more you relax here, you might find that your body starts to naturally crave a little deeper expression of the pose. But that's not with a force. It's with just a natural letting go. All right, next inhale, slowly start to come up again. Good. We're gonna lean back and see if we can pick our feet up off the ground and hold your feet. And if you can't do that, just stay in your bound angle. So you gotta balance on your sit bones. Yeah, so it's like boat pose. Lift through your chest, press your feet together, extend through your inner knees. Good. Some of you might take this and progress it with legs straight. Or not. There you go. Got a couple takers on it. Lift through your chest, reach through your heels. Good. And then release back to your bound angle and feet down on the ground. Very good. Okay, so let's make our way onto our backs. We're running out of time. So if you want some things for Shavasana, have them ready. We're not quite there yet, but maybe a pillow, blanket for your knees, or covering if you're cold or want some weight on your body. And then let's just come down onto our backs. Give you guys a moment to get there. And then just start with feet flat, knees bent. Settle into that back body a moment. And actually, if you have a blanket under your head, let's take that out for a moment because I forgot we're going to do one more thing here. Take your hands behind the back of your head and interlace them. Take your right leg out straight and keep your left leg bent. Widen your legs so that they're about max distance apart. And then you're going to push off of your left foot and let your left knee drop to the left and look over your right shoulder just for a moment. And now release, let that foot rock back down, knee back to vertical. Now this time, let that knee come across your body. At the same time, slide your torso to the right. So you're in a side bend to the right. You might even wiggle those shoulder blades and push into that left foot and you'll get a nice stretch through that side body. And then slowly slide back to the center. Let your foot come back. Let your head come back. And let's do that 2 more times. So push off your left foot. Slide your upper body to the right. Let that knee drop over to the right. Your head turns a little bit toward your left. And then release back to the start. One more time. Drop the knee to the right. Slide the upper body to the right. And then you get a nice stretch along that side. Good. And then release. Bring the knee back up and slide that leg out. Okay, let's try the other side. Bend your right knee. And then push off that foot. And just do one time without the slide. And then another time, drop that foot and now slide your body over to the side. Push off the foot and release. And do that 2 more times. Push off the foot, slide your upper body. Maybe look over toward that elbow and release. And one more time. Push off the foot, side bend, look toward your elbow and release. And then both legs out for a moment. Yeah, that one was a little tricky. I hope everyone was able to figure that out. And then bend your knees and take your legs up straight like we did in the beginning. This time, cross your right leg over your left leg and no space in the middle of your legs. Bend your knees and have those feet coming to the sides. 3 options. Hold behind your legs, option 1. Hold your shins, option 2. Hold your feet, option 3. Now, if your low back is lifting off the ground, go with the option A or B. If your low back is not lifting off the ground, you can go with option C and hold your feet. Now, just like we did in the reclined Sukhasana in the beginning, take an inhale. Exhale, press your lower back down and pull your knees in towards your chest. And then do that 2 more rounds. Inhale. Exhale, lower back presses, knees squeeze in toward the chest. One more time, and for me, getting a nice outer hip stretch on that right side. Feet are flexed. And now just hold it, compress it. Lower back presses down, legs squeeze in. And then let it go. Legs up, circle your feet around. Point flex. And let's do that on the other side. So now left leg on top, no space between the inner thighs. Bend the knees so the shins come apart from each other. And then either holding behind your legs, ankles, or feet, but that low back's got to stay on the ground. If the low back is coming up, you got to go a little bit more gentle with the hold, or come back to Sukhasana. It's another option. Once you're there, take an inhale, exhale, press your lower back, squeeze your knees in towards your chest. 2 more rounds. Inhale, exhale, lower back presses, knees squeeze in. 1 more time. And then hold it. Press your lower back down. Pull the knees in. Compress. And get that nice outer hip stretch. It's like the whole IT band area. It's gallbladder channel. And extend your legs back up. Circle those feet around both directions. Point flex. All right, lower the feet down to the ground. Take your hands behind the back of your head again, but this time don't interlace them. Put your thumbs right at your hairline. And with your thumbs at your hairline, massage along that hairline. From the center of your spine all the way outward, just give a nice little massage. This is the occipital ridge area, but also gallbladder channel goes through here. And now wherever the sorest spot is, the most tender spot, press your thumbs into the back of your skull with the in motion and slightly up motion. So in toward the body and lift up a little bit toward your skull. And then take your feet as wide as the mat. Knees are bent. And windshield wiper, side to side, while you hold those points. So these are acupressure points. The gallbladder channel. And the idea is that when we release the points in a little bit, it's kind of like opening a dam where all the energy can flow with a little more force through that area of the body. Knees back to center. Slowly release the points and feel a little bit maybe warmth go through the back of the head. Have another breath there. And then we're going to take the legs up toward the ceiling one more time. Take the arms up toward the ceiling and we'll do our seaweed pose. Let your hands be floppy. Let the feet be floppy. Soft joints. So make sure that they're like nice and loose in the arms and the legs. Close your eyes and just feel like you're floating here. And then allow yourself to have a gentle kind of moving as if you're underwater, like you're floating. So maybe the legs sway a little side to side. Maybe there's a circular movement. Maybe they all move in the same direction, or maybe they're going opposite directions. And let the back body drop into the ground. And then we'll hug the knees into the chest one last time. Let your back just relax into the ground. And then finding Shavasana when you're ready. So grab whatever props you would like. I'm going to come up to sit. Ooh, I didn't realize, guys, it's 11. I want to give you Shavasana. We're going to end about 5 minutes late. So that last sequence took a little longer than I thought. My apologies. So find your position for Shavasana. Make sure you're cozy, warm. Make any last adjustments so you can be really still. Let your body drop into the ground. So noticing the areas that we worked today, the outer hip and inner leg area. Maybe imagining that energy could be flowing through these areas without any blockages. The tissues are soft. And then moment by moment, let everything go. Layer by layer, let go of tension. And find the softest Shavasana throughout your whole body. So as you rest, I'll share a reading with you this morning. And this is from the book that I just finished called Wintering: The Power of Rest and Retreat in Difficult Times. She writes, I'm beginning to think that unhappiness is one of the simple things in life. A pure, basic emotion to be respected, if not savored. I would never dream of suggesting that we should wallow in misery or shrink from doing everything we can to alleviate it. But I do think it is instructive. After all, unhappiness has a function. It tells us something is going wrong. If we don't allow ourselves the fundamental honesty of our own sadness, we miss an important cue to adapt. We seem to be living in an age where we're bombarded with entreaties to be happy, but we're suffering from an avalanche of depression. We're urged to stop sweating the small stuff, and yet we're chronically anxious. I wonder if these are just normal feelings that become monstrous when they're denied. A great deal of life will always suck. There will be moments when we're riding high and moments when we can't bear to get out of bed. Both are normal and require a little perspective. Sometimes the best response to our howls of anguish is the honest one. We need friends who will wince along with our pain, who tolerate our gloom, who allow us to be weak for a while we're finding our feet again. We need people who acknowledge that we can't always hang on and that sometimes everything breaks. Short of that, we need to perform those functions for ourselves, to give ourselves a break when we need it and to be kind, and to find our own grit in our own time. So last couple moments here, just really feeling your body on the ground, all of the emotions that are present today, be with them and allow them to move through you rather than suppress them. Now, in the next couple of moments, you can start to deepen your breath, move a little bit through fingers and toes, stretch it out. If you need a longer Shavasana, you can certainly just let us close out and take more rest. If you're ready to end practice, you can roll to your side when you're ready and have a pause for a few moments. And then take your time and press up as you are ready. Find a comfortable seat. And then we'll bring our hands together in front of the heart space. And have a nice inhalation, letting the heart lift, and exhale, bow your head to meet your heart. Thank you, everyone. Namaste. All right, thank you guys. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joan. I'll send out a link for pajama yoga in a little bit, but we'll have class tonight.
Good. See you later.
Yeah. All right. See you then.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Take care, guys.